Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It's Smashy here and today we are back in Final Fantasy XIV. So before we start, I'm going to make you the promise that I'm not going to keep you here as long as last time. I think in the first video I wanted to go through with you all the new shinies that are in this new game that I'm playing. Whereas this video is more focused on all of the updates, what I've been doing, and some key points really. So whereas the first video was designed to kind of spot the difference, this is a little bit more of how my character is progressing and all the new things that I'm learning. So without further ado, let's get into it and I'll see you at the end. Goodbye now. And we are straight into it. So the last time I saw you was around level 17 in the previous video. So this video takes us all the way up to level 40. A lot has changed, and as you can see I'm in the Adder's Nest at the minute, which is the home to the twin adders, which are the new Grand Company that I have unlocked. I am just having a quick look around at the moment and you can see there's various different bounties, and there's also a way of kind of upgrading your rank within the company to unlock rewards, and you can see that there's production, supply, as well as different quests that you can go on in order to earn these tokens, which you can spend at the quartermaster here. So with me just being the entry level rank at the minute, you can see these gear items that I can attain from them are actually quite low level. But in terms of the quality, the items do fit the aesthetic of the Grand Company. If you wanted to RP as one of the guards, this would be a good place for you to pick up the gear that they have. To be honest, it isn't my favourite set in the game. When you look at some of the sets in this game, they're absolutely beautiful. But I think they are quite basic, and I think my priority is going to be levelling up rather than buying anything at this time. There's absolutely nothing here that catches my eye whatsoever. As you can see on the left, I'm just going to briefly show you that there are different ranks available. So I am presuming at this stage that when I start ranking myself up, then there will be opportunities to buy better things. To do that, you have to apply for a promotion, and you can see the cost for this next rank is 2,000, and I currently have, you know, around 1,800, so I'm nearly there. There are various different levels as well. It's not just an easy day's work. But I really like this idea. It seems that I wasn't forced to choose a particular one. There's quests, as you can see, to go on with them. And it just gives you yet again that sense of having a presence, being part of something whilst not being forced to do it. There's a better view of what their armour looks like, and the other two Grand Companies, they have similar aesthetics in blue and red. So the twin adder are very focused on kind of yellow, the twin snakes. Yellow is definitely not my favourite colour, but as I said, I think that the missions that they're going to provide me with are going to be based around Gridania, which is the area that I felt most attractive to. I like the idea of sticking around the forest. And what was interesting about this quest chain is you got to visit all three of the Grand Companies before you made a decision about which one you could go with. And as I say, there's no reason for you to pick one or the other. When I yet again compare to World of Warcraft, there's always a reason for your decision, whether a certain faction matches the class that you are or your end game intentions, that type of thing. But this is completely your choice. Another flexible part of the game. And as you can see, the quests are quite important. They are like a main quest chain within the game. What comes with being part of a grand company is you are given your very first mount, and as you can see, my character is jumping for joy. I had to buy a token for 200 of the currency, the grand company currency, and what surprised me here is I actually have to choose a name for the guy. And all I really wanted to do was get him, get my mount and take him for a spin. And it felt very final. I wasn't sure whether I'd get to rename him at a later time. And it was just one of them where I had to pick something. But as you can see, I went through various different thoughts in my brain. And in the end, you will see what I settle with. But I thought it's a great way to be given a mount. Not only are you just visiting random NPC in a game and picking up a mount, it feels like you have been welcomed into a new faction of being in a grand company, and they are rewarding you for the support in which you're giving them, because you had to have done some work for them in order to get the 200 tokens. So George and I are now a pair. Just finishing the quest off here. Yet again, it feels very rewarding when you read the quest text. You're not just going to a trainer and speaking to them once and getting given a mount. There is quite a facade around you getting this mount for the first time, and here is even the little question mark help button, which is teaching me exactly how I need to learn my mount and where I can find my list of mounts for the future. Very easy, simple system, and if you're not sure, then you always do have that little help box available. And here he is. Just going to put him on my bar somewhere random. Obviously he is going to be key bound, but just for the sake of getting on him as soon as possible. I wasn't aware that, I didn't really think about it, to be honest. I didn't think that I couldn't use him within a city. With it being an outdoor environment, I just assumed that I could get on him, especially because Gridania because it's such a flat city, it feels very long, so I thought I'd be able to use him, but I've had to go outside of the city just to have a look at him. And here he is, and he's even got his own music that plays when you use him, which I thought was quite nice. I think it is a bit loud for me, if I'm honest with you, but it's nice that it sets off that sense of adventure when you use your mount. But I do think that there is a good aesthetic. I've seen various different versions of the mounts in the game, and they seem to be upgradable. Each of them are within the Grand Company colours. So George is yellow because of the twin adders. Moving on, I have unlocked White Mage, which is pretty cool. Yet again, I wasn't really expecting this. I was just going through my quests, as you do, and I have apparently unlocked White Mage. What I'm doing at the minute is looking for the item which turns me into a White Mage, because unless you have this little relic attached, you are just a standard Conjurer. And I had to find it. I assumed it, because it was just a little token, it might just be in my standard inventory, but it was actually in my armory chest. And as you can see, when you equip it, you turn straight into a White Mage, which is pretty cool. Yet again, I've got a little help pop-up that's come up to educate me on the abilities that I can now unlock when I'm in this spec. and I'm just having a quick look at here of what I've achieved. It's straight away giving me presence of mind, and then there's plenty of other abilities which I gain as part of the white mage role in the future. It does look a bit daunting to me having all of these abilities, because I have quite heavily used healing add-ons in World of Warcraft. It's difficult to explain, but I had a separate UI for healing, and because of that I was able to duplicate keybinds, and I feel a bit nervous that I don't have that anymore. Just enjoying some of the new spell effects. I think that one thing that Final Fantasy does very well is the spell effects. And I can see when my next white mage related quest is, and I can come back to Raya here to pick up the next stage at level 35. I'm nearly there, not far to go. But for now I'm quite happy with that. I had another quest to turn in, and I wasn't really sure what it was for, but it had this lock above it, and I was really concerned because it said that I couldn't turn it in. And it said that I had to be a Conjurer, which is fair enough, but my thoughts were, can I not complete quests as a white mage? Do I have to sacrifice all these extra abilities and do quests as white mage? When I handed it in and I realised what this quest was, I thought, right, this must be a Conjurer specific quest that I've picked up in order to get this unicorn. So at this point I'm thinking, oh well, perhaps the unicorn is given to Conjurers, and all the other starting jobs, maybe they have their own mounts as well. So I'm just making that presumption. It wasn't until I went back out and did quests again that I realised I could, you know, be a white mage and still use those abilities. So as with George, I'm taking the unicorn outside just to give him a little try. It seemed quite strange actually, because I felt like I'd just been given George and now I had a unicorn as well. I don't know. I don't know if I felt like it would be better if they were spaced a little bit more apart. But it is nice, of course, to have that flexibility that if you don't like the unicorn or you don't like George, then you can swap between them. There is actually a random mount button, which I haven't put on my UI yet, but I do use, that randomly chooses which mount that you get. But what I like about the unicorn is it has its little glittery effect when you ride around on it, and it has its own music. So that very adventurous feeling and sound when you have George is a lot different on Unicorn. Unicorn, which I didn't have to name. I was very pleased about that, because as I say, when you get something new, your priority is just to try it out. And there is that icon at the bottom, the random mount that you can drag to your bar and keybind. Which I've done so. And just clearing the place up. I know I've got a lot of abilities to come, so I do want to keep my ability bars quite clear for when I need to use them. I'm just trying to make as much glitter as I possibly can. Moving on, you know, I have been out. I've been completing lots of quests. I think I'm getting quicker and quicker at completing quests on my own. I still do think it's a bit sluggish. Even as a white mage, it hasn't made much or any difference. I've unlocked only one extra ability by doing this, and with the GCD that you can see on the abilities at the minute, it is just taking so long. I still only really have one damaging ability with one damage over time. So the way I'm doing it is just literally dotting everything and then spamming button number 1 over and over again. But this quest is yet again following along the progression path of my character, and you'll see what happens. Dun, dun, dun. Further potential as a white mage. So obviously I got quite excited. Have a quick look, and this is the moment. So this is the level 35 white mage quest that I spoke about before. They're fairly simple. They don't require a lot of knowledge. They're not skill-based quests. They should be easy to complete, even if you're not the best player at the game. Turn this into her, and then she will grant me the ability. And it goes straight on your bar as well, which especially for new players, if you're not entirely sure of all your bars and your menus, as yes, you get the abilities put straight on your bar. Chat, chat, chat. And there we go. So this ability has made me feel a lot more comfortable within the game. So this is Regen. This is a heal over time ability. So thus far I have been healing with a dispel and a long cast heal, which is 2.5 seconds, I believe. This is a heal over time. So it gives you that extra bit of a buffer, that when you're in a dungeon, then you can just put a hot on somebody. Absolutely fantastic. It's quite nerve-wracking as a healer to watch somebody's health go down and just feel like you can't do anything about it. I would really love to have a quicker direct heal. What else have I been up to? I've been getting into better habits. So this game requires you to go through low level areas quite a lot. This isn't low level to me at the minute, but I just wanted to demonstrate that what I am getting into the habit of doing is going into a gathering based job whilst I'm travelling. So with this sneak ability as well, it gives you that extra protection that things aren't going to attack you. I think this is fantastic because one of the issues in WoW when you're trying to farm anything is that everything is attacking you. Whereas this is just like the answer to all my prayers, that when you're looking to pick up herbs and ore and things like that, you have that protection that things are going to leave you alone. So yeah, botany tends to be the one that I slip into because it's the highest level. But yeah, if there is something on the ground, then I will pick it up just to help me level my other jobs a little bit more while still focusing on my main job as the white mage. Now this is by far the most hilarious quest that I have found so far. So all of these guys are perving at these female kitty cat ladies that are taking a bath. And it is my job to tell these perverts where to go. And the way of doing so is to be angry at them, and it shoos them. And I've seen them, like, this one's behind a tree, but there's like, the other ones were like in vines. And are climbing up rocks and stuff just so they can get a better view of these women. So yeah, /furious is how you deal with this. And then you go back to the young lady, and she says that I can come back at any time for a look. Well, thank you very much. That was very nice of you. A bit surprising. I'm not sure that a lot of studios would have quests like that, but it did make me giggle, I must admit. So thank you very much for that. That was hilarious. Moving on, I just wanted to highlight really, I know that I speak quite positively about the game, but I just wanted to show you how frustrating some of the itemization is. The quest rewards on this occasion is exactly the same as something that I have received already from a different quest. And it is frustrating. It's not like they even changed the colour of it or the stats were slightly different. They weren't. And I've gone to pick up the next quest, and the next quest is yet again for an item that I've already got. And obviously these quests, I don't know if it's because I'm doing optional quests and not everybody does optional quests. As you can see, the one I'm picking up here is actually a main chain quest. But it's really frustrating that they're not even slightly different. They are identical in stats, in colours, everything. And I'm getting it all the time. Just saying. Just saying. But it just means that turning in quests are sometimes a little bit frustrating because you're not sure if you're going to get something that's actually going to benefit you or not. And you know, the whole idea of the game is that you are progressing, and sometimes it just doesn't feel like you are progressing. That failure is nothing to do with anything I've done. It was just a fate nearby that had been failed. So that is it, everybody. Thank you so much for staying until the end. I will be coming back at you with some more updates from Final Fantasy in due course, and until then I'll see you next time. But in the meantime, if you would mind just dropping me a like on this video and subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you very much. See you soon.